You're standing in the shadow of one of the world's most iconic volcanoes, and it's not staying quiet anymore. Mayon Volcano, the perfectly shaped cone rising over the Albay province in the Philippines, is now under alert level 3, and that's not just a technical label. That's a flashing red warning from the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. A signal that the volcano is no longer just restless, it's showing clear signs of escalating danger. And the numbers are terrifying. In just one day, January 6, 2026, Mayon unleashed 53 pyroclastic density currents.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
That's not a typo. 53 deadly, high-speed flows of gas, ash, and volcanic rock surged down its flanks in a single 24-hour period. And that wasn't even the whole story. There were 47 rockfalls that day, too. For context, those numbers didn't just break records, they obliterated previous monthly totals. It's not just a bad day. It's a signal that something much worse could be coming. So what's driving this chaos? A lava dome. But not just any dome, this one's unstable, growing, and positioned right at the summit. It's like a pressure cooker at the peak of a steep, 35-degree slope. The lava is thick, viscous, and doesn't flow easily. So instead of a slow-moving river of magma, you get a plug-a dome that just keeps building until it fails catastrophically. When it collapses, that's when the pyroclastic flows come crashing down. Fast, hot, lethal. Those flows can travel faster than a car on the highway. We're talking speeds that can overtake a person on foot and temperatures that exceed 700 degrees Celsius, enough to incinerate anything in their path. And Mayon's shape, that steep, postcard-perfect cone actually amplifies the danger. Gravity does most of the work, accelerating debris downslope with terrifying ease. So far, the most dramatic incident happened on January 6 when part of the dome collapsed and triggered a pyroclastic flow that traveled nearly 2 kilometers down the Bonga drainage. That one event was enough for Phivolcs to raise the alert status to level 3, and under the criteria they use, that means a high probability of a hazardous eruption. This isn't based on speculation. It's based on hard data, dome growth, constant rockfalls, glowing incandescence at the crater, and confirmed magmatic activity. All signs point to one thing: Mayon's not bluffing. This isn't just a geological problem. Over 1,100 families, nearly 5,000 people have already been evacuated. That's not a drill. These are real families who've had to leave their homes, their land, and their entire way of life behind. They're now living in temporary shelters, schools, gymnasiums packed into evacuation centers across Albay province. And the clock is ticking. Resources are stretched thin. These aren't tourists or casual visitors, they're farmers, living off land made fertile by past eruptions. Crops like taro, chili, and vegetables once thrived in the rich volcanic soil. Now, that same soil could be buried under meters of ash and pyroclastic debris. Livelihoods are in limbo. The longer they stay away, the deeper the economic blow. And with no clear end in sight, the uncertainty is suffocating. This isn't the first time Mayon has forced people to flee. In fact, it's happened many times before. The deadliest eruption on record, 1814, when over 1,200 people died and entire villages were buried under volcanic debris. Even as recently as 2023, similar warning signs prompted evacuations. The difference now: the scale, the speed, the sharp, undeniable acceleration in volcanic unrest. Let's break down why scientists are so concerned. First, the volume of pyroclastic flows. 53 in one day isn't just a high count, it's a qualitative shift in the volcano's behavior. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a pattern. Each flow means part of the dome is collapsing. That means more heat, more pressure, and more instability within the system. The volcano is pressurizing from within. And when that pressure hits a breaking point, that's when things can escalate fast. Then there's the rhythm. Back in December 2023, Mayon averaged about 3 rockfalls per day. Now, try 47. That's not a gradual increase, it's an exponential surge. A flashing signal that the dome is weakening. Structural fatigue is setting in, likely from internal heating and the rising pressure of magma underneath. If this trend holds or worse, accelerates further, it could mean a major eruption is closer than anyone wants to admit. And just to be clear, alert level 3 isn't just a maybe.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Your feedback helps shape what we cover next, and you being here keeps the conversation going. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Physics has very strict requirements to raise that level. They need to see real evidence like persistent lava extrusion, glowing heat from the crater, and most importantly, confirmed magmatic pyroclastic flows. All of those boxes checked. The science is clear, and the risk is real. The monitoring data doesn't lie. GPS systems and tilt meters have been tracking deformation on the volcano's flanks since early 2024. What they found is consistent: uplift, measurable inflation on the northwest, southeast, and mid-south flanks, a telltale sign that magma is intruding beneath the surface. It's pushing upward, expanding, straining the rock from within. That kind of pressure builds silently, until it doesn't. What's especially terrifying is that Mayon doesn't always give warning before something catastrophic happens. The steep slopes and thick lava reduce the amount of time between structural failure and pyroclastic flow. That means even with all this monitoring, reaction time is limited. A sudden collapse could happen with little to no warning, and once a flow starts, it's over in minutes. Meanwhile, life in the evacuation centers is far from easy. Families are crammed into spaces never designed for long-term shelter. Resources are stretched. Schools are now dormitories. Gyms are makeshift kitchens. The normal rhythms of life, work, farming, education have all been thrown off, and no one knows how long they'll have to wait. Days, weeks, months. But even if Mayon doesn't erupt, the damage is already done. Displacement isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's financial. Farmers have left behind fields they may never get back to. Kids are pulled out of classrooms. Entire communities are stuck in limbo. The longer the volcano simmers, the deeper the strain on everyone around it. That's the brutal irony of volcanic unrest. Even without a dramatic explosion, the threat of one is enough to unravel lives. And while scientists are doing everything they can tracking gas emissions, thermal activity, seismic shifts, they still can't predict the exact timing of a major eruption. They can only monitor trends. And right now, those trends are going in one direction, up. So where does that leave us? It leaves us watching a volcano that's done this before and may do it again soon. It leaves over 1,000 families in temporary shelter, not knowing when or if they can return home. It leaves us with a lava dome that's growing more unstable by the day, rockfalls piling up and pyroclastic flows becoming the norm, not the exception. And it leaves scientists with a dilemma: act early and evacuate at the cost of long-term disruption, or wait longer and risk everything. Mayon is a geological masterpiece, but right now, it's a ticking time bomb. If you're watching this and you're stunned by just how quickly nature can flip the script, hit that like button. Drop a comment below if you followed Mayon's past eruptions or want updates as the situation unfolds. And if you want more stories like this, real, dramatic, and unfolding in real time, make sure you're subscribed. Because in a world this volatile, you never know what's coming next. Let's be real, this isn't just some far-off volcano story you skim past in the headlines. This is a high-stakes, real-world disaster teetering on the edge, and it's escalating fast. Let's go back to what kicked this whole thing into overdrive. That dome collapse on January 6, 2026. That single event wasn't just dramatic, it was a warning shot. The pyroclastic flow that surged nearly 2 kilometers down Mayon's slope wasn't a fluke. It was gravity cashing in on the dome's instability. That's the terrifying part. Mayon isn't erupting in the way people often imagine, with a huge explosion and lava fountains. It's building pressure like a soda bottle left out in the sun, with a cap that's barely hanging on. Every dome collapse is that cap slipping just a little more. And here's where things really get chilling. None of this is happening in isolation. It's not like Mayon had one bad day and then calmed down. This is sustained, consistent acceleration. Scientists call it nonlinear and rest in plain language. That means it's not ramping up slowly. It's not steady. It's snowballing. It's unpredictable in timing, but undeniable in trend. Let's talk deformation. You've got tilt meters and GPS stations positioned across the volcano, and they're picking up movement. Since early 2024, they've recorded uplift, meaning the volcano is literally swelling. Not metaphorically. Physically, it's inflating like something alive. The ground on the northwest, southeast, and mid-south flanks is shifting. That kind of pressure buildup under the surface, it's magma making its way up. It's the system expanding from within. You don't get that kind of consistent deformation unless something is coming. And let's not gloss over what pyroclastic flows actually are. If you're picturing a cloud of smoke gently rolling down a hill, stop right there. These things are death in motion. They move like avalanche but hotter, denser, deadlier. They hug the ground and obliterate everything in their path. Trees, roads, homes, people. The temperatures can reach up to 700 degrees Celsius, which is literally hot enough to melt metal. Once a pyroclastic flow starts, you're not outrunning it. You're not outdriving it. You're not surviving it unless you were already far, far away. That's why evacuations aren't optional, they're mandatory. As of now, the 6-kilometer permanent danger zone is in full effect. No exceptions. No last-minute trips to grab belongings. You're either out or you're in danger. Over 4,900 people are now living in shelters scattered across Albay province. That's not just a statistic. That's thousands of disrupted lives. People sleeping on school floors, living in makeshift conditions, wondering if they'll even have homes to go back to. And for these communities, it's not just about survival, it's about everything else that survival costs. Think about it. You farm land all your life. That land is passed down, it feeds your family, it pays for school, it gives you a future. And then overnight you're told to leave. No idea when you'll return. No guarantee it'll even be safe when you do. That's not just displacement. That's disconnection from your entire foundation. And even if Mayon stays quiet, which, let's be honest, it's not doing, there's no bouncing back instantly from that kind of blow. This is the part most people forget about volcanoes. It's not just about the eruption. It's about the uncertainty before it. The waiting. The not knowing. Scientists can monitor everything: seismic activity, gas emissions, deformation, thermal imaging, but they still can't say exactly when or even if the big one will hit. That's the cruel irony. The more data we have, the more we understand, but nature still calls the shots. And Mayon has always been unpredictable. Let's not forget its history. In 1814, a major eruption killed nearly 1,200 people. Entire villages were buried. That's not ancient history, it's a stark reminder of what this volcano is capable of. And the pattern is repeating. The 2023 activity had similar early signals: dome growth, seismic rumbling, minor eruptions. That ended in widespread evacuations too. But this time, it's already worse. The metrics: rockfalls, pyroclastic flows, deformation are all higher, stronger, more consistent. This isn't background noise. It's a system straining at the seams. Now, you might be thinking, if it's this dangerous, why not just declare a full eruption alert already? And the answer is because volcanology isn't an exact science. You can measure everything. You can see the dome growing, feel the ground shifting, even smell the sulfur in the air, but that final trigger, that tipping point where pressure becomes explosion, it's still impossible to pinpoint. That's why Alert Level 3 exists. It means high unrest, with a strong potential for hazardous eruption. It's not a casual precaution, it's a formal acknowledgement that the system is on edge. It's enough to legally enforce evacuations, restrict movement, and activate emergency protocols. It's the line between watching and waiting and actively bracing. And yet, life has to go on. Kids are trying to do homework in shelters. Parents are figuring out how to feed their families without access to their farms. Everyone is checking updates from Fivolks like it's a weather report, hoping for good news and bracing for the worst. The problem is that Mayon is incredibly deceptive. Its beauty is legendary, it's one of the most photogenic volcanoes on the planet. That perfect cone, the lush green flanks, the scenic backdrop. But beneath that postcard image is one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines. And it doesn't always explode with Hollywood drama. Sometimes it's these slow, creeping signals: dome growth, rockfalls, swarms of pyroclastic flows that build and build until, one day, the whole thing gives way. So here's where we are: a volcano in measurable unrest, a lava dome that's unstable and growing, flanks that are swelling under pressure, thousands of evacuees sleeping in schools, and a region holding its breath. No one knows what Mayon will do next. It might erupt tomorrow. It might hold out for weeks. But what's certain, absolutely certain, is that this level of activity isn't sustainable. The system is changing. The volcano is communicating in every way it knows how. And the scientists monitoring it, they're listening. In the meantime, the only thing anyone can do is stay alert, stay informed, and take every warning seriously. Because Mayon has erupted before. And Mayon will erupt again. And here's the thing people often underestimate: how fast everything can change. One moment, the volcano is rumbling, shedding rock, spitting out a few pyroclastic flows. Alarming, yes, but still manageable. Then suddenly, boom, you're in a full-blown disaster. That's the fear with Mayon. There's no slow-motion warning when the dome gives way. There's no countdown clock. Just an unstable summit, pressurized from within, with physics doing all the dirty work. That's why every hour matters. Why scientists are obsessing over tilt readings and thermal spikes. Why even the tiniest uptick in gas emissions gets flagged. Because they've seen how this plays out not just here, but globally. The signs Mayon is showing. They line up uncomfortably well with what we know from other dome-building eruptions. They start small, feel semi-contained, and then escalate in a snap. This is not fear-mongering, it's pattern recognition. Let's not forget, this volcano has a history of luring people into a false sense of security. In past eruptions, there have been periods where things quieted down only for Mayon to roar back to life with even more intensity. That unpredictability is part of what makes this current phase so nerve-wracking. Because while the dome is visibly growing, and the data is clearly trending in one direction, no one can say when it hits critical mass. The people of Albay know this. They've lived through it before. That's what makes this evacuation so heavy. It's not just about leaving, it's about remembering. 2023 was hard. 2018 was hard. But 1814, that's carved into the land, into the collective memory. That eruption killed over 1,000 people and buried entire communities under volcanic debris. That's not ancient history in a place where families have lived off this land for generations. And now, they're displaced once again. You've got nearly 5,000 people packed into 14 evacuation centers. Schools turned into shelters. Classrooms into sleeping quarters. Gyms into community kitchens. These aren't temporary fixes, they're emergency lifelines. But they're strained. You can only stretch so far before resources run thin. Food, water, sanitation, mental health support. It all takes a hit. And the longer Mayon simmers, the harder it gets. Because let's be honest, no one wants to live in limbo. For many evacuees, every day away from their farms is a day of income lost. These aren't city folks with savings accounts and remote jobs, they're farmers, traders, small vendors. Their survival depends on being close to their land. And when that land is inside the danger zone, there's no easy answer. Do you wait it out, risking everything if the volcano explodes? Or do you return too soon, gambling with your life because you need to feed your family? And yet, preparedness is the only option. Prediction is still out of reach, but preparation, that's where lives are saved. Fivolks has been clear. This is not business as usual. Alert level 3 is not a placeholder. It's a call to action. The dome is unstable. The rockfalls are accelerating. The pyroclastic flows are too frequent to ignore. The magma is moving. And the mountain is changing, day by day. So where does that leave us now? Right in the eye of the storm. Waiting. Watching. With over 1,000 families displaced, a volcano that's showing all the wrong signs, and a population trying to stay safe while clinging to some form of normalcy. It's tense. It's exhausting. And it's far from over. But as long as the signals are flashing red, everyone is on borrowed time. If you're still here, make sure you're part of the conversation. Like this video if you found it eye-opening. Drop a comment with your thoughts, especially if you're following Mayon's activity or know someone in the area. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment. Because in stories like this, every update could be the one that changes everything. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially part of the small percentage of people who don't just click away, and that means a lot. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your thoughts, your ideas, or even what you'd like to see next. I read every single one of them, and your feedback genuinely shapes the direction of this channel. If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button, it tells YouTube this content is worth sharing. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. We've got more exciting videos coming, and trust me, you'll want to be here for them. This channel is just getting started, and your support helps it grow faster than you realize. Thank you again for spending a part of your day here with me. Stay curious, stay motivated, and as always, take care of yourself. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.